Hey, quick little CMAX setup video to talk about the front leaf suspension. I want to talk to you today about how to set up your spring hangers for the wheelbases that we have intended for the trucks. There are obviously a huge amount of adjustments here to set up your spring hangers, the swing hanger here in the back and the solid shackle in the front. Obviously you can adjust these back and forth and line up your wheelbase with the front of your truck or the frame rail, however you want to do that. But I will tell you about our intended setups so that when you are looking on GCM Racing for setup sheets for a Blazer or Hilux, you can just copy what we've done here, and so this is the way we've expected you to install these. First of all, I will tell you that most of the time we use the spring hanger, the solid hanger mounted in the holes, 2 holes back from the front of the frame rail. That gives you a little bit of extension here, which is really handy if you happen to want to put one of these center cross members up in the nose, and then you can use it for bumper mount. That seems to be really popular on most of our builds, and generally there's a spare, obviously there's 2 of the center cross members here in the kit, and one of them tends to be superfluous, so you can use it in the rear. You can also use it in the front if you decide for a bumper mount. Works great. You don't need to use it here, it's just sitting, and so we leave a space here with the front so that we can not only get a little bit of extra meat here in the frame rail to use for bumper mounting, but it also means that there's adjustment 2 holes forward and 2 holes rearward to move the wheelbase should you decide to do that. We are pointing the solid mounted shackle here forward, which means that our spring eye is actually on this side of the mount. Obviously, if you were to use the other mount, they are left and right opposites, and you can turn them around should you so desire, so that your leaf eye is actually at the rear of the mount, but we expect you to mount it in the forward position. So that will line up your leaf springs to get onto your TM8 axles or RC 4-wheel drive or whichever other leaf axle you're using. In the rear swing hanger, the position of the rear swing hanger has to match your type of spring that you're using and the compression that you are using. So basically this eye in the front of the leaf will not move. Your wheelbase is set by this eye right here, and then as the leaf spring compresses, you can see the rear swing shackle actually has to move, because as the leaf gets flatter it also gets longer. And so this position here works pretty well in the straight up and down sort of when it's free, because usually when our trucks, when they're loaded, they sit about there, and that gives you a little bit of an easy swing on the swing hanger for your rest of your suspension compression. And the way that you set up the swing hanger is you'll see in your swing hanger kit that the front swing hanger is actually attached from the inside of the frame rail. So you would want to do that with your drivetrain out. That's very simple. You can just take out these 2 screws, slide the drivetrain down and sideways, and it will just literally, the whole drivetrain will come out with the 2 cross member screws on the transfer case. So that will give you lots of access here to put your screwdriver in here and mount that screw through here. And so the way that the swing hanger works is you want to have the screw on the inside of the frame, directly on the inside of the frame, and then we gave you a little silver washer. You can see it in there. The little silver washer goes between the frame rail and the front swing hanger, and then you're going to put the screw directly into the swing hanger and literally clamp the screw down all the way. Okay? Clamp the screw down all the way so the screw completely bottoms out. We have the thread depth on the swing hanger set exactly so that when you have the washer in there and the screw is tight, then there's very, very little movement here. There's a tiny little bit of wiggle in order to get you the flex compression that you need, but the swing hanger is free in the frame, nice and free in the frame. So bottom out the screw here, and please, if you so desire, put some thread locker in there. Now once of course you have your wheelbase set up on the truck, then you can figure out where you want to put your shock mount. This is the tiny shock mount that is designed for our leaf shock position. It gives you lots of room for inner fenders and motor coverage in the front. And you'll set up the shock mount after your leaf hangers are set up in the front. So if you have questions about setting up your leaf spring hangers, then do send us a note at gcmracing.ca and we'll try to help you out.